Working with Alexander is the most pleasant, fun, open experience because he always allows life into the script or into the locations. Like the bowling alley, that was not a scripted location, but we saw this place and we knew we had to put it in here because it was so beautiful, so we changed a whole scene around this location. And he also wanted to show the owners of the place, Tom and Jerry, and he put them in the film as well.
It is like a kid in a candy shop. He truly loves this, truly. And he's giddy, and sometimes in between takes, he'll be dancing and smiling or clapping his hands like, you know what I mean, a little kid.
He's an amazingly good host, and he's even more of that. Like his love of every aspect of the thing, and for every person, and every department, and every extra, and he learns everybody's names. He learns all the extras' names.
And Ben, and what did you say, you're Eric? Eric, yeah, slightly behind him, okay?
It's even more of that than there was before.
It was lovely working with Paula in this one precisely because we had that history 18 years ago making Sideways. And some crew people commented to me about the few times I actually need to direct him, to tell him something, I could do so with a look or a grunt.
Sometimes there's explicit communication, but oftentimes it's almost monosyllabic because they know each other so well. They'll be like, cut, you know, just more, a little bit, yeah. And you could maybe yes, and then not no, but more of the other thing, precisely.
And action.
I keep thinking about, is it different? He was a little bit more strict a long time ago about like, but he's less so now.
Oh, Paul, sorry. Oh, no, cut. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Back to one, please.
He's constantly asking my thoughts on Mary, and is this authentic? Is this ring true? Would she say this? Would she not say that? And that's rare.
You get a personal call from him to invite you to be a part of his movie, and it's so classy.
The biggest surprise for me was sort of how much agency he kind of allowed me in creating the role and the things I wanted to do.
Brady learned how to smoke a joint.
Yeah, I will say that was probably
He's a certified joint smoker right now.
It was that was a really interesting day. Alex, he came up to me, he goes, "Hey, you know how to use a lighter?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know how to use a lighter," because Michael let me borrow one of his Zippo lighters. Yeah. So I was learning how to, flick it open, shut it. But the smoking part, I was not familiar with. So I thought all it was is, you hold it up, you light it, that's it. Which then, they had to tell me that you had to suck in air so it actually would stay lit. Well, that took me like 10 tries to get down. And so I think that was a pretty funny day for everyone but me. A lot of the times, which makes things hilarious, is Alexander will just start laughing out of nowhere. And it's very hard to just stay in character.
Action.
Welcome back, Mrs. Darling and Visigoths. I trust you all enjoyed a refreshing holiday. Oh, hello, Mr. Coates. Or should I say Icarus? Fly a little too close to the sun, did we?
Huh?
Yeah. All right. Now, along with your skiing and swimming, I hope you found time to enlighten yourselves about the Peloponnesian War and its implications for today. Just to check, we're going to start with a short pub quiz on reading, and then we'll take the final from last semester. Omnia ex spinius praetestinum.
I kind of feel like I went to film school on Alexander's back, and that he would make these references. He'd want something kind of tonally or visually, or he'd kind of want a narrative moment that, as opposed to try to unpack it verbally, he'd just be like, John Garfield, all right. Michael Curtiz, point of no return, 1950, midpoint forward, click. Like, what? Hello?
We set up a FaceTime interview, and within 5 minutes we were like laughing so much together. And he also was saying, did somebody tell you to answer these questions this way? And it was just like an instant connection of how we like to do things. We both prefer to find locations with existing character.
Turns out change often comes slowly to New England, so we were able to find a lot of locations.
Alexander has made a 70s movie. How it's presented, how it's shot.
To create 1970, we start with a location that has period architecture, typically 1960 or earlier. And then from there, we start talking colors, tones, and then the details all come through set dressing for us, especially when we're building a character like Paul. There is a layer of neglect because Paul's stuck.
Philistines.
The set decorator, Marcus, is so good with those details, and he's one of those guys, he just never stops. I know he's working on the weekends, and he's lying to me about it. He's the guy who finds like those desks and the books that are on the bookshelves. He's so passionate and so good and so thoughtful. Like yesterday in Paul's classroom, I looked in Paul's desk, something that we would never see, but each drawer was dressed with appropriate things that would be in the drawer, just in case Paul were to look in there or something so he wouldn't be taken out of the scene.
Eigil Brill is our cinematographer. He is Danish, and he seems to do everything. He operates, he lights.
I think it's good.
Eigil's work, it's super cool. I look at the dailies, I'm like, wow, it does look like a 1970 film in the way that he's choosing to shoot it with lenses and how undersaturated the colors are.
David Fincher had described him to me as the hardest working cinematographer he had ever worked with. And coming from David Fincher, I knew that was something. The only trouble with him is that he's irritatingly good looking.
Wendy Chuck, our costume designer, has been with Alexander from the very beginning. We put her through a lot of financial hurdles.
If you were to look closely, you'd see these handbags repeated probably 20 times. Shoes also repeat. Hats and scarves have been repeated many times because we simply did not have the time or the money. You actually are painting a scene with the colors of clothes.
We were in Worcester, Mass, shooting a skating rink. And it was very cold, but it was fun to shoot ice skating. The extras were so carefully selected and clothed, and even had period skates.
I've played a lot of hockey in the past, but they gave me these really flimsy, too big figure skates. They really helped me in the scene because there's no reason why Angus should be a great skater. So it was easy to manipulate them in a way that made me fall on my face pretty believably, yeah.
We have this graphic designer that is named Nate. He has worked with Alexander for over 20 years now in all his films. Nate knows exactly what the scene might need and what Alexander's gonna like and not like. Alexander and Nate use a character named Tolf Hansen in all their films. And so it's this story of this man from Nebraska, where they both are from, who died a horrible death in New York City, but they kind of have kept him alive through using his name in different areas in films. So yeah, it's so cool. And we had to try 3 different times to get it in this film.
It was fun to shoot in the snow and take advantage of it and say, this is exactly what we want. We don't have to put any visual effects here in the snow. And then other scenes where you say, wait a minute, where's the snow? How does it match with what we've already shot? We had a couple of snow days where we had to shut down and literally were stuck in a hotel eating whatever food was coming out of the vending machines.
We spend so much time in pre-production together. And then once we start shooting, there's a separation that happens because I have to be ahead. And so we miss each other. But we get together on Saturday nights and we hang out.
Hello, Cammy. How are you today? Good, good, good.